What's going on, you guys? The Yak is back with another video, and been working on the Civic's cooling system and made some progress. So let me show you guys what I've got done. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of footage because I was recording on this GoPro, and it's a new to me Hero 8 Black GoPro, and I lost a lot of audio in the video that I had recorded. So some of the clips that you just saw were previous days of me coming to the shop and knocking out work on this thing. So let me catch you guys up to speed on what we got going on. So as you already know, we got the radiator mounted in the trunk here, and I went ahead and welded these AN fittings on for 2-16 lines that will run up to the front. And then I got this is a -12 to the coolant fill bottle that I purchased on Amazon. This thing is actually pretty nice. I think I paid 40 bucks for this thing, and honestly, I couldn't have built this honestly for that price. I couldn't have fabricated that for this price. So sometimes you just got to go with the smart option and the option that saves you time and money. And then I'm just going to utilize this overflow. So I'm just going to utilize this OEM overflow tank for now, and I'll probably mount it right here and connect it to the coolant fill there. So let's take a walk around up front. And got the pump mounted and most of the plumbing done up front here. So got some -16s welded on to the head fill there, and then coming off the thermostat housing, I welded a -16 on there as well. So once the thermostat opens, it'll send coolant to the pump. This is the inlet side, and then this is going to push it all the way to the rear of the vehicle, and then when it comes back, it'll come up into the head and then cycle through the head to the block, rinse and repeat through the mechanical pump. And I still am utilizing the mechanical water pump. You can't really see it, it's right there, but it's still there. I just added this electric pump to make sure that we have enough flow going to the radiator and coming back. So underneath the vehicle, I got these hard lines, which I think you guys saw in the last video, but I got some tabs welded on here. So this tab will mount to the rear. Kind of hard to see, but I got a tab welded underneath there that'll connect to here. And then I got another one up forward here. So I still need to drill a hole here and then weld it to a bracket that I got underneath there. So gonna try to get that done today and finish the plumbing, and then this thing should pretty much be ready for coolant to be flowing through it. And I'm gonna do a separate video on the Lexan windows, and then the little intake shroud that I'm gonna build back here for this thing to kind of hide this. So like I said before, it'll be a sheet of aluminum, and then I'll have some intake ducts that feed air from the windows into the radiator. So, but for now, I'm gonna knock out the rest of the plumbing and hopefully get this thing buttoned up. That way, when my Lexan windows get here, hopefully tomorrow, I can start working on that. So let's get it. All right, so after multiple days and way too many hours put into this thing, I finally got the cooling system buttoned up, and I'll show you guys everything. All right, so got the filler right here, and then I just added this coolant overflow. This is the OEM overflow. This one's ugly. I'm gonna eventually get a new OEM one. They sell them on Amazon and eBay for like 20 bucks. So that'll clean that up. But really happy with the bracket. Worked out really nice. This thing's super solid. And then as you guys have already seen, we got the radiator mounted in the rear here. I used my hole saw to cut some holes down here for the AN fittings. So that worked out really nice. Just used a 3-inch hole saw, drilled right through. And then coming underneath, so the car is on the ground right now, and it may not look like a lot of ground clearance in the video, but I've got at least 3 or 4 inches down here, which I feel is plenty. And then up forward, it's tucked even more into that exhaust pocket up there. So that was really the crucial part for me, is if I'm going to be going over any speed bumps or anything, I'm most likely to or any like steep driveways or whatnot, it's probably going to be hitting up there before it hits back here. So got the fan installed. That bracket worked out really nice, and really happy with these AM lines, as long as they don't leak. So going up forward, you guys have already kind of seen up here, but got the pump mounted right here. And then just ran the 2 lines, the out going down into this pocket down here, and then the return comes up and then into the head right there. So that was fairly simple. And then I ended up, I'm not going to show you, but I have another bracket right underneath the car in that exhaust pocket that holds the hard lines right there. So it was a lot of work. Hopefully it is worth the effort. I got all this space right here now. So I have a plan for this space, but you guys don't get to know that yet. Before we go ahead and end the video, I wanted to show you guys one last thing, welding related. I need to weld a bung onto my intercooler piping, and I want to show you guys all that's involved and how you can save a little bit of money, even if you don't have a welder, how you can prep it and bring it to a welder and get like a fitting welded in a intercooler pipe for a lot cheaper than just bringing somebody the piece of pipe and making them do the cut and mocking it up. So I'm gonna show you guys that real quick. All right, so for this example, let's say you have a piece of intercooler piping like this, and you need a bung welded in, or say like a blow-off valve or whatever it is, right? And you're not super confident on prepping it. It's a lot simpler than you think, all right? So for this example, for me, what I need to do is I need to weld a intake air temperature sensor right here. I already have the location marked where I want it. I mocked it up in the car, and I marked the spot where I want the sensor. So this is the bung I'll be welding or prepping to put right here, okay? So all you need to do is find a hole saw like this that is slightly under your fitting, okay? So like this one, see how it's, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's actually just barely bigger than this fitting, meaning when I go and I cut in here into the intercooler piping, hole saws always have a tendency to chatter, so it's actually going to cut a little bit bigger hole than actually what you think it's going to cut, okay? So this hole saw right here is a little bit too big for this fitting, so I'm going to find another one. All right, so I went ahead and I found a slightly smaller hole saw, and if you have a set of calipers, you can measure this and then go to the store and buy the correct hole saw that's slightly under the dimensions that you measure. All right, but it's always better to start smaller, because you can always take more material out, but you can't put it back in, okay? So I'm gonna start with this hole saw. It's a 3/4, and I'm gonna go ahead and hole saw it out. All right, so I don't know if I mentioned this, but you definitely want to use the hole saws that have a drill bit as a guide. It's common knowledge to most people, but I'm just gonna, you know, baby steps. Just try to teach you guys some simple stuff to start out, and then we'll get more advanced. All right, so like I said, I already punched my hole. I'm gonna put my drill bit in that hole. That's okay. All right, and just like that, we have a hole. And remember what I said about using a slightly smaller hole saw than your fitting, because it's gonna walk out, okay? So, oh gosh. All right, so we got our hole drilled, and this is a deburring tool. If you don't have one of these, you can use a file. You can use whatever. You just kind of want to clean up those burrs on the inside there. So I'm going to go around a few times, and you just don't want something hanging off in there. So that looks good to me. All right, so after we deburred, we got our fitting in there, and we got some super tight fit up. Obviously you're going to have a little bit of a gap in the corner, but it's so minute that it shouldn't really matter. What you don't want to see is something like this, okay? You don't want to have some big gaping hole, because as welders we want it to be as tight a fit up as possible. So keep the gaps small, and try to keep the fit up real tight, okay? So that's acceptable right there. And yeah, if you brought this to me, I wouldn't charge you much to do this. Now, if you brought me this and it was unprepped, not ready to go, then I probably would charge you a little bit more money, all right? All right, so that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I just kind of wanted to sprinkle in a little bit of knowledge with the you know, prep for welding in some bungs, or if you take it to a welder to have them weld in a bung, can save yourself some money, and you know, probably entice them to weld it sooner than later by prepping it and getting it ready for them. All right. Don't get in over your head, and don't try to be one of those guys who, you know, mocks up a whole turbo system and has no idea how to weld, because you're probably going to get into some trouble. All right. I actually do have customers that bring me intercooler piping and other things that are already mocked up, and you know, they kind of know what they're doing, so it works out, and I'm able to weld it because, you know, they know the rules of welding: tight fit up, cleanliness, and you know, attention to detail. But yeah, don't be one of those guys that brings your welder something that's got some huge gaps, that's super dirty, and just not prepped right. All right, so if you're gonna do it right, and then bring it to them. So yeah, cooling system is pretty much wrapped up. I am going to, for the next video, I'll probably do the Lexan windows as long as they're here. I think I got an email that they arrived today. So plan with that is to create some ducts for them that feed into that pocket of the radiator, and it should come out and look pretty cool. So really excited about that. But that's it for this one, you guys. Catch you in the next one.